A girl born behind the Berlin Wall. Not from wealth. Not from a political dynasty. And yet, she didn't just lead Germany. She rewrote the fate of all of Europe. A rise shaped by science. A fall of dictators. And the redemption of a divided nation. This is the story of Angela Merkel. The Iron Lady of Europe. The year was 1954. Hamburg, West Germany. A place torn between two worlds, East and West. Germany had been split by war, pride, and politics. And in this fractured country, a girl was born. Angela Dorothea Kastner. Her father was a Lutheran pastor, a man who believed in spirit over wealth. Her mother, a school teacher, disciplined and rooted in values. When Angela was just 3 years old, her family made an unusual move. They left the freedom of West Germany and settled in the heart of East Germany, in a small town called Templin. A place ruled by the iron grip of communism. Angela was quiet. Unlike other children, she didn't seek noise or attention. She observed. She reflected. Once, her school teacher asked, "What's your favorite hobby?" Angela replied, "Thinking." Life in East Germany wasn't easy. The government controlled everything, from TV shows to textbooks. Truth was filtered, and questions were dangerous. But Angela had a secret escape. Science. Formulas, logic, equations. They didn't lie. They didn't change with politics. I wanted a world where every question had a clear answer. Angela Merkel. She came from a modest family. No political legacy. No money. But what she did have was discipline and detachment. She never wore makeup. She didn't care for fashion. She didn't want to impress. She wanted to understand. And this deep hunger to understand would one day lead her to become the most powerful woman in the world. Angela wasn't born to be a politician. She trained to be a physicist. At the University of Leipzig and later at the Central Institute for Physical Chemistry in East Berlin. Angela Merkel was deep into quantum mechanics. Living in a world of formulas, experiments, and silence. She didn't crave the spotlight. She didn't campaign. But the fire of truth burned silently inside her. In the 1980s, East Germany was crumbling. The people were suffocating. The walls were closing in. And Merkel was watching. The Berlin Wall, the symbol of division, finally fell. Thousands rushed into the streets. Tears. Cheers. Chaos. Angela Merkel did not run to celebrate. She didn't shout or cry. She went to the sauna. Yes, the sauna. When asked later why, she said, "History was happening. But I had a routine." She didn't seek noise. She was preparing for the real work, rebuilding a nation. She joined a tiny political party. Democratic Awakening, a group nobody expected to survive. But her calm mind, scientific logic, and fearless honesty caught the attention of someone powerful. Helmut Kohl, the Chancellor of Germany. He brought her into his government. Not as a symbol, but as a weapon against corruption, against chaos, against carelessness. Angela Merkel. A woman with no political family, no charm tactics, was now the Minister for Women and Youth. And then, Minister for the Environment. And then, she turned on her mentor, Helmut Kohl, once her biggest supporter, became embroiled in a political scandal. Most politicians stayed silent. Loyal. Scared. But Angela Merkel did the unthinkable. She wrote a letter to the national newspaper, publicly criticizing Kohl, calling for a new beginning. No one expected it. She didn't ask for permission. She didn't flinch. From that moment, the world saw. Angela Merkel was not to be underestimated. She was often underestimated. Called boring, cold, robotic. She didn't play power games. She didn't flirt or flatter. She waited, listened, struck only when ready. Her nickname in political circles? The Teflon Lady. Because nothing stuck to her. No scandal. No insult. She simply endured. But inside? She faced loneliness. She lost her privacy. She was mocked for her clothes, her hair, her quietness. And yet, she never broke down. Because she didn't come to impress. She came to lead. By the early 2000s, German politics was loud and full of ego. Men in suits, shouting over microphones. Deals made in backrooms. Speeches filled with promises, but empty in truth. And then there was Angela Merkel. No charisma. No theatrics. Just calm, cold logic, and quiet courage. While others climbed ladders, she held the ladder steady. And when they fell, she quietly rose. Germany was in crisis. Unemployment was rising. Europe was unstable. And that's when it happened. Angela Merkel was elected the first female chancellor of Germany. It shocked the world. A woman. From East Germany. A scientist. A pastor's daughter. Now running the fourth largest economy on Earth. When asked how she felt, she didn't smile. She simply said, "It is time to get to work." She stepped into power and straight into chaos. Chart decreasing the 2008 global financial crash. Chart decreasing the Eurozone collapse. Chart decreasing the migrant crisis. Chart decreasing Brexit. Chart decreasing Donald Trump. Chart decreasing Vladimir Putin. Chart decreasing COVID-19. Every year, a new disaster. Every time, the world looked to Germany. And Germany looked to her. She wasn't loud. She wasn't charming. But in every storm, she stood like a mountain. Common crisis is not weakness. It is strength. Angela Merkel. World leaders started calling her the decider. The moral compass of Europe. The last adult in the room. She was named Times Person of the Year. She topped Forbes' list of most powerful women 14 times. But at home? She still lived in the same apartment. Still did her own grocery shopping. Still cooked her own soup. She never changed. Because power never changed her, she cried rarely. But when she did, the world noticed. At a memorial for Holocaust victims. At a funeral for COVID victims. And once, when a refugee girl asked her, "Will I be sent back to my country?" Angela replied softly, "You're safe here." Her voice broke. She turned away, holding back tears. Underneath the iron was a heart that never stopped feeling. After 16 years of leading Germany, Angela Merkel decided to step down. No drama. No extended farewell tour. No power games. Just one press conference. "I will not run again. It's time for a new chapter." When asked what she'd do next, she smiled for a moment and said, "Sleep. Then, read a book." Under her leadership, heavy checkmark Germany became the economic engine of Europe. Heavy checkmark 1 million refugees were welcomed during the migrant crisis. Heavy checkmark the country transitioned to clean energy. Heavy checkmark she never used Twitter. Heavy checkmark she never made it about herself. She proved that humility could lead. That logic could triumph over noise. That a woman from East Germany could become the conscience of the free world. Her final day in office came with no applause. She walked out of the German chancellery alone, to the tune of a military band. Her chosen farewell song? A haunting 1970s East German ballad. About a girl who wanted to go her own way. She didn't wave. She didn't cry. She simply nodded. And walked away from power. But not from greatness. In a world addicted to noise, she was silence. In a world chasing power, she walked away from it. In a world of egos, she was proof that integrity still matters. Angela Merkel didn't just make history. She made quiet leadership powerful. She made truth stronger than fear. And she made the impossible possible. If she could do it, so can you.